Ready? Listen, this is an interesting podcast. Episode 18. We barely made it here today, but we're here.
Literally.
And we're missing someone.
A key member of our crew.
A key member.
If you're watching us on Avery Coach Ministries on YouTube, there's an empty spot at the table.
Not on purpose. We did not kick Brittany off.
She kicked herself off.
Yeah, she said, do this without me today, boys. She's got a lot of work to do for the church, and so she's doing some work while we get to be on the podcast and play around today.
Have fun.
So we're excited about that. We told her that, if because she's not on the podcast, anything that we say
cannot be used against us.
It cannot be used against us. So we're going to see how today's podcast go, but I'm excited. We're at episode 18, just 2 episodes from one of our biggest episodes that we're going to be having with one of our biggest guests, and I'm excited about it on episode 20. So hang in there. We're almost there to have a wonderful episode 20. So I'm excited.
Can we tell them who the guest is? We can't tell them. I don't think we should. I think we should just let this.
I think we should announce it at the end of 19.
At the end of 19, okay.
We'll announce it at the end of 19.
You gotta wait.
Special
You just gotta wait to see who our guest is. You're gonna be shocked. I'm telling you.
We'll see. It'll be fun little. We got a lot of good stuff, so I'm excited.
We have a question today.
Oh, good. Who's this from?
It's from a guy named Jason.
Welcome, Jason, to Preaching Young. Yeah, I gotta come up with a fan name. I don't know why I can't. I'm gonna work on it this week. I'm gonna come up with a fan name. Actually, you guys should come up with it.
But just in case, you should.
Comment on YouTube. Send us a message on our email at preachingyoung@gmail.com and let us know what your name should be called as our fans.
We gotta have a fan name for you. We're getting ready to be 20. Then
we're 20 episodes in.
Gotta have a fan name.
Yeah, if we can make 20 episodes, this is really going to solidify us as a podcast.
This sets us apart as a beginner podcast to a professional podcast.
Yes, we'll be getting some really good ads.
We're gonna get a studio.
Yeah.
We're far from that. Anyway, this question's from Jason. He says he loves the podcast and started listening in episode 12.
Wow.
Faithful member.
Episode 12, that was a good episode. That was where we talked about Crossley's camp. We talked about
a couple things.
What we learned about Brittany. That's what it was. We learned about Brittany. And
that was right. I think that was somewhere around the Brittany's episode.
Yeah, that was pretty close. It might have been it.
It might have been Brittany's episode. Anyway, his question is, he said he's loved it ever since, by the way.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jason.
So, his question for each of you is, minus Brittany because she's not here, what is your favorite podcast to listen to? Well, Jason, I enjoy listening to my own podcast. I'm just kidding. I do listen to Preaching Young. I rewatch our own podcast, but
that's a good question. No, do it because I got to think for a second.
My all-time favorite podcast outside of this one, of course, is definitely the Unashamed podcast with Phil Robertson. Mainly because they do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I'm able to get 3 episodes in a week because I work 3 days. I don't work those 3 days, but I work 3 days of the week. So I'm able to listen on every single day. I can listen to each episode. And they're about an hour long, so they're good episodes. But I like, I like the podcast because they're very personal people.
Yeah.
And they talk about real things, real world things that happen in their life on a day-to-day basis. They talk about some interesting things about Duck Dynasty, which was their TV show that they did. And they talk about some negatives to that, actually. Negatives and positives to the show. They talk about all kinds of stuff, really. But they also always have usually a biblical aspect, and right, at least for the past month, they've been in John, so they're going through like every chapter of John, like a chapter an episode or something like that.
I didn't know they did that actually.
They do throughout every episode, so it's like an underlying kind of thing that they.
I did not realize they did that.
I
knew that they would. I knew they would go to the Bible, but I didn't realize they actually.
Yeah, they're following along. I think they're in probably in John 8.
Well done. We should probably do that. Well done, Robert.
But it's good because
That's
usually
awesome.
the first half. Now I don't know if they do this on purpose, but the first half it's kind of just
topics,
real world things, stuff that's happening in their lives, stuff that's going on at the church, stuff that's happening in the news and politics, and then because they've got a TV show on Blaze TV, I believe it is.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but their podcast is good. If you don't listen to it, recommend it.
I used to be really big on podcasts. I used to listen to podcasts all the time. Not so much anymore. I do listen to Cooper Stuff every week. Cooper Stuff!
Never heard of
That's John Cooper. He's the lead singer from Skillet.
He's got a podcast?
He's got a podcast
I gotta look this up.
Cooper Stuff! Cooper
Stuff.
Stuff. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. John Cooper has a cool beard, and that's cool. But he's very, he talks about he talks about. I mean, he really calls out a lot of Christian leaders that. I mean, he really goes hard on Christians. So I love it. He's a very challenging podcast. But I have tons of podcasts I listen to. There's this podcast called Office Ladies. Now, I like The Office. I like watching The Office. I usually binge watch The Office once a year for the last like 3 years. I've watched the entire thing every year. I don't know. I get in the Office moments. I just start binge watching it.
My sister does the same thing.
And so does she really? I didn't talk to her about it. I love this. I love The Office.
I think she's seen The Office, start to finish.
Well, she would love this podcast. It's called Office
Probably
Ladies.
would.
It's Pam and
Oh, it's the people on the episode.
yes.
Well, I'm not
And
really a fan of The
they'll
Office.
talk about. They actually will talk about some of the bloopers and funny stuff and like cool like behind the scenes stuff that you never would think of. But I also like NASCAR, so like Dale Jr.
Well,
Download.
that's a good one. I listened to that one a couple times. Joe Jr.
Back when Stephen A. Smith was on his podcast,
I'm
he
really
said
bummed
like
that
the
he got rid of that.
First Take or whatever it was.
He
What
still
was that
has
thing
one.
called?
He was on. It was called Stephen A. Smith Show.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith show. And then I have to say, Mike Rowe has this podcast called The Way
You're so
I
stuck on this Mike Rowe
Heard
character.
It. I love the thing. It was one of the coolest podcasts ever. There's also, here's something that if you're in the tour buses, I know we talked about tour buses in our last episode. Go back and watch that if you haven't. But there's a podcast called Bus Boys Podcast where they literally it's what coach is that? All Access tour buses. They go through and do some behind the scenes stuff as well on that. But I like those scary podcasts.
There are some criminal ones, like
Someone Knows
what are they called? Murder
Something.
Mystery.
Up and Vanish was
Up
a
and
really
Vanish.
good one.
That's all right.
I'm literally just trying to go through my list right now. Conan O'Brien had a pretty decent one every
Steve
once in a
Furtick has a
while.
podcast, but it's just sermons. It's not like a
Yeah.
It's not like a podcast, but it's still good. I mean, if you like Steve Furtick. But
Atlanta Monster was a really good one. But I'll tell you something that's really crazy. This is something that I really got into. I went to 2 years ago. I went to a youth conference in Memphis, Tennessee. It was a lot of fun, and I met this group of guys who were. I'm trying to think what the guy's name was Chad. I can't think of what he was trying to sell me. He's trying to sell me something for our youth. But we started talking about podcasts. He said there's one podcast that you have to watch, right? Above all else, you got to watch this one podcast. And so he says, he was talking about what the podcast was. He said it'll blow your mind. It's called Rabbits.
Rabbits.
I think that's what it's called. It's called Rabbits. Let me make sure because I want to get this right. Yeah, Rabbits. Rabbits, Rabbits, like the animal, and then Are You Playing? So if like you look on the thing, it's a picture of a rabbit and it says Are You Playing? And I encourage you to watch that podcast or listen to that podcast.
Rabbits.
It'll blow your mind. It's I don't even know how to describe it. Have you heard it?
Never seen it.
Okay, you need to watch this. This will blow your mind, and
Rabbits.
you won't be able to turn it off. And the question is, how many steps are to the lighthouse?
Every episode.
Now, no. You have to, if you want to find the answer to that, you got to listen to that podcast. How many steps are to the lighthouse? Rabbits. Oh!
don't
Jason,
understand
you're gonna love me for this
I don't
because
understand that.
it'll blow your mind. So that's a really cool podcast. And so anyway, but yeah, I like different podcasts, but I always listen.
Podcasts are interesting.
I like documentaries more than anything, but I like listening to behind the scenes stuff. I like getting to know people in a more personal way.
Well, that's why I like the Unashamed podcast. Really, mainly
Yes.
for that reason.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I've saw growing up, I watched that show.
Right.
Not growing up, but however 6
Yeah.
years, 7 years ago, whatever it was.
They were on there for a while.
Yeah, but I knew them as TV personalities.
Yes.
And how they were on TV, and then come to find out,
They're not
They-
too far off, really.
they weren't too far off. And actually, I don't want to spoil the podcast for you because they talk about it quite often. The show
Yeah.
that they were on, and they say that Hollywood kind of tried to dumb them
time.
down with
Yeah.
Christianity, and they stayed pretty strong in their faith. Like the prayer at the end, I
Yeah.
thought was kind of like something that they
Yeah.
like Hollywood made them do. When in reality, they were wanting to do it, and
I wanted to do
Hollywood
more.
they wanted to do more of it. They wanted to talk more about Scripture and Jesus and stuff, and Hollywood would let them. But I enjoy them. They're cool people. Follow them all on social
I
media.
mean, I can't imagine how many people they've impacted or are
Oh, it's
still
insane.
impacting.
I think they're like I don't want to misquote it, but they're like definitely in the top 10. I don't remember what number it was,
Yeah.
but of all podcasts, I think like a month ago they were.
I mean,
So,
you start to learn about them, and they're down to earth people. Then you realize about their faith. I mean, that's such a good testimony. So that's one of the reasons we do our podcast. I mean, we want to make sure that we're, getting out there and helping young people like Jason.
they answer questions though too on that podcast. It's good, like we do.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
I'll have to submit one.
I think they do. I don't think they do emails. I think people still send them letters.
Oh, I can do that.
I'm not even kidding.
Snail mail.
Snail mail.
Well, that's awesome. I'm excited about that. Well, thank you for that question.
Yeah, good question.
Any other questions, you can send it to preachingyoung@gmail.com.
That is true.
All lowercase.
I don't think email's case sensitive, but whatever.
All right. Capitalize the P if you want to.
Preachingyoung@gmail.com.
Capitalize the P if you want to. We're excited. Listen, this week at Trinity, well, two things. Before I go this, I'm the pastor here at Trinity Southern Baptist Church in Falmouth, Kentucky. Now, Falmouth, Kentucky is part of Pendleton County. We have counties and cities here in towns here in Kentucky. That's how we do it. And so our county is Pendleton County. No, in Ohio they don't.
You don't do counties?
No, in Ohio you got townships.
Oh, that is true.
Like Blue Ash is like.
I didn't even think of that. They
I
don't have
know.
cities. They have.
It's weird,
okay.
It's like a weird thing. So not
They
everybody
do have
does.
88 counties.
Do they?
Yeah, heard that.
Like Cuyahoga.
It's weird. I feel like I'm in it all the time up there.
But what is it? That's not a county. Well, that's my point.
It is a county.
So
but
we have
it's
counties,
city
we
too,
have
it's weird.
cities and towns. But so Pendleton County is one. We are on the map. I don't care what anybody says. We're on the map, and I'm gonna tell you why. Right now, my cousin Dante Allen, he plays basketball for University of Kentucky
Say that name
Wildcats.
again, Mr.
Dante Allen.
Basketball?
Mr. Kentucky, yeah, he was
2019?
2019 Mr. Kentucky, and so he's been he's at the campus right now. They're practicing and getting ready for the season, and so we're really excited here in Pendleton County for that. But also on the same breath, if you turn on the TV to watch baseball, who's playing from Pendleton County?
Nate Jones.
Nate Jones. We call him Nate Dogg.
Nate Dogg.
Roof, 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 Nate Dogg.
I heard he still drives his old truck around.
This guy, if you meet him, it would blow your mind. My brother went to school with him, and we've known him my whole life, and he is one of the most down-to-earth people. So is Dante. Dante and Nate, both of them, they're both from Pendleton County. They're both doing amazing things, and when they sit there and they come to this town, which they live here, both of them, I'm trying to think, yeah, both of them still live here. They are the most humble people.
Well, Nate definitely does now because he's in Cincinnati.
Dante will work out and he'll ride his bike through town.
Oh yeah, we've been working. I think 2 weeks ago we were outside working or something, and we were looking out and on the street. There goes Abram's like, there goes Dante, ride his bike.
You sit there and you go to a little league baseball game, and here comes an old truck, and here comes out Nate Jones. He looks just like all of us. He has not changed one bit, and I just think that is the coolest thing. One, it's cool to see all these Pendleton County people on big screen, and number two, it's great to know that they're down to earth. That's something that's hard to do and see nowadays.
But it's hard for them to stay that way. You know what I'm saying? Like once they leave, it's hard because Nate Jones didn't just go straight to Cincinnati. Nate Jones was in Washington or Chicago.
Chicago,
was in,
yeah. I think he went down to Texas somewhere.
I think he went to Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he's traveled around quite a bit with baseball, but then he came back.
Came back. His kid was in his kid, Max, I think it was.
Huh?
Archer. One of his kids was in preschool with my kid.
Really?
So really cool stuff. But I just love it. I love it. It's exciting. But here in Falmouth in particular, we just started as a church. We started this week what has been Serve Week for us. And why don't we tell them a little bit about what Serve Week is?
One of my favorite weeks of the year. Yeah. We started it last year, actually.
Yeah, we did.
From scratch. We'd never done it before. I had never heard of a Serve Week before.
Some of these mega churches will do. I think Elevation calls it Love Week. I know Family Faith. I can't think of the church name. Josh Joins. If you look up Josh Joins, Joines on Instagram, he's got a church, Faith Family Fellowship Church, I think it's called, something like that. But they do Serve Day every week, every day around this time. But go ahead.
Anyway, Serve Week, one of my favorite weeks. We've never done it, like I said. Well, we started last year, but it's something that last year we had no idea what it was going to be like.
No.
Because we just literally was like, hey, you just came up with the idea. Let's do Serve Week. It ended up being like a really awesome week. We started out with a prayer walk on a Sunday night to kick it off as a church. Yeah. And throughout the week, we were doing all kinds of stuff. We actually gave people opportunities. We had a piece of like a sign-up sheet out before, and we had people like fill out stuff. We had
what they're doing.
I think we had a couple things that they could have done, like write letters to the nursing home or whatever in the area, and but we had a lot of people do their own thing, which was encouraging. And people were knitting hats, knitting scarves for people, knitting all kinds of stuff, baking cookies,
mowing lawns,
you name it. They were doing
neighbors, buying groceries for people.
So by nature, we did it again this year.
And here's the thing about last year is we saw a lot of people who were debating if they wanted to be part of our church that was kind of their first like initiation. Like they came in and they're like we're going to participate in Serve Week. And it was kind of from there, they joined the church and they become part of our family. But
right. And it's a cool thing because, people in the community, they want to see an active church. They want to see a church who's in the community, who's doing things. And
well, let's start with this, because this is a hard thing, because we encourage people to take pictures of them serving. We encourage them to let us know, mainly because for a couple of reasons. We want to know what they're doing. We want to be able to track how much what everyone's doing and how much time people are putting into serving. But the first question I always get is, why do I need to take a picture? I feel like I am bragging about serving. That's what I hear.
that's true. I hear it too. You post pictures of, whatever you're doing throughout the week and someone comments and says,
First thing
what are you
though,
doing it for I do it for this, not for the
yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
That's what they say.
but you have to understand that, number one, we're not doing it to brag. When we post those pictures of us serving,
Definitely
it's
not.
not for us to brag about it. It's for us to encourage it. It's us to encourage our community, encourage our church, encourage other people.
If anything, it's more encouraging to the people of the church
Yeah.
because you see people serving and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I want to go serve.
I
now
want to go
because
serve
haven't
where I
done it.
can serve, where
Yeah.
I'm looking for an idea of how to serve, and this person just fed his neighbor meals, who can't get out of the house, and I have a neighbor the same way, and I can do that. Actually, we just found out that we have a personal care home here in town that we had a group of ladies that went out and fed them grilled out, which no one ever grills out for them. They don't ever get grilled food. So they're like, we finally get a grilled burger. They've been in quarantine for 3 months, can't go anywhere, and they finally got a grilled burger. And then they found out that they need pillows. And so they went out and said, all right, here's another service opportunity. We can provide them
Here's
pillows.
some pillows.
And they wouldn't have known that if they didn't sit there and take pictures and go there and serve. And so these things are built upon in so many different ways. Plus, for us as a church, it's so good for our community to see that we're active. It's good for us to see that we're active. And so it really keeps us in the loop. And I just, I'm not doing it for bragging reasons. I know the church ain't doing it for bragging reasons. So if that's where your heart is, then that's a different story.
Right.
But
And it's kind of the same way all across the board. Like, we keep track of numbers, but it's and I think I said this last episode, but we keep track of numbers, but it's not about the numbers.
No.
It's about what the numbers represent. And that's the people. And it's kind of the same thing for Serve Week. It's not about the pictures. It's
Right.
not about what we're bragging about what we're doing, but it's about what those pictures show.
And here's the thing that we have found out, that those people follow us on Facebook. We have a great following on Facebook. We have a lot of interaction on Facebook. And so what we have found out is when we post those pictures of us serving and us in the community and us doing the work, it's not like we're sitting there walking to, picking up trash and we take a picture of it and then we don't pick up anything else. Like we're actually doing the work.
Yeah.
But when people see that, they get more. They get excited. They go, maybe that's the church I want to go to. I mean, it's really a bonus on multiple levels.
Yeah.
But it's for us, Serve Week has been such a good thing. And for me, I love Serve Week because it starts ministries, right? Serve Week, every year we get a ministry started because of Serve Week. I did not realize that this personal care home needed pillows. And so now we've contacted a couple other places that they said they needed shoes, they need pillows, and they need everything. So now, every other month for the rest of the year, we're going to start giving these places pillows and shoes and clothes and all these things. And that would not have happened if we didn't have Serve Week and if we didn't have our church serving. And the list can go on in different ways, right?
I think we started our outreach team probably.
Our outreach
Serve
team,
Week.
yes, Serve Week. And so now, it's not just a Serve Week and then we're done. This has given us opportunities to be able to do other things.
It's kind of it's just like a mid-year, rally.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is a
Focus.
rally, really, because as a church, I really feel like everyone's including in
Yeah.
it. Like everyone rallies around the Serve Week.
And one of the things that I did that was to really help promote Serve Week was, I did a Serve series for the last 4 weeks, right? Built to Serve. Yeah. So that for the last 4 weeks we have been hearing about why we should serve, how we should serve, when to serve, and all this stuff. So it really led to Serve Week, and it's been a really good, I think, transition altogether. But I'm excited because now we have to, I always judge anything we do, any event that we do. I judge it by the next Sunday, right? Or not just the next Sunday, but in general, what does it look like the next Sunday?
How does it benefit?
Yeah, if nobody's coming to the church next Sunday, or if nobody's, if nobody's being changed by what we're doing, or if it's just, if we're not seeing the results at all, then is it really successful? And so we are. I'm excited for the impact that we're going to be having this Sunday, next Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
just moving forward.
Yeah, because if it doesn't bring people into the church to hear the gospel, then what's the point of doing
Right.
it? Just wasting time.
Yeah.
So,
And
And
it's, well, it also, it gets people to a point where they go, I can serve. It's hard to serve. I don't know what it is about Christians, but Christians are probably one of the most shy people in the world. They're shy, they're nervous, they don't like being uncomfortable. And so doing something like Serve Week, and you get people out there, they finally get to a point where they can go, oh man, I actually can do it, and
Yeah.
it feels good to serve, and I didn't get rejected by people when I tried to serve,
Yeah.
And, I love that more than anything.
it's encouraging to watch because
Yeah.
it's the most. I think the most encouraging thing is seeing what different ways people come up.
Yes.
The ideas that people come up with to serve. Because
Yes.
there are some things that people have been doing that I'm like, man, I never would have even thought about doing any of that.
And my goal I was hoping to do it this year, but with all the virus stuff that's been going on, we weren't able to. But my goal for next year is to really, I want to get shirts for everybody, Serve Week shirts. I want to really get, a couple of community events that we can do as a church where we can, I don't even know what it would be like right now, but, we're going to start working on that where we can do community events where we're serving as a full church, not just individually. But we, on top of it. So I'm excited. We got a lot of cool stuff happening.
We need a prayer walk for our youth this Wednesday.
Well, let's talk about that too. Talk about that mindset. Why'd you do it? What was the purpose of it?
Honestly, we didn't plan it originally to be in the middle of Serve Week.
Right.
We did a Power of Prayer series that was started 4 weeks ago, and Power of Prayer. So we went over 3 different stories: King Jehoshaphat, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego,
Yeah.
and then we went over Paul's conversion to Saul and kind of what that looked like through prayer and things. But we just emphasized the importance of prayer, and then we were working it out. Me and Brittany we were going on vacation, and we were going to be gone. And right the week before, which was this week, Serve Week, we were like, hey, let's do a prayer walk. Right, and it just happened that it'd be right in the middle of Serve Week, so it was pretty cool that we did that. And I don't know, it was a neat thing. It was very encouraging to see all the kids because we had about 20 or so show up for a prayer walk, so it was very encouraging. We walked not through the entire town, but we walked pretty much up through the middle of it and then cut over. We prayed twice while we were out there, prayed for our community, and then we prayed for our students to go back, if they go back to school in the fall, and just kind of
It's
pray for all kinds of stuff happening in our world right now. But it was encouraging, and we got a lot of positive feedback from it.
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was wonderful and good to see. And one of the things that I try to stress to people is, for whatever reason, the church has this mindset that if we should raise money all year long to send 10 people out to do missions, right? Let's raise money all year long. Then we'll send 10 people out, 5 people out to go and do a mission trip overseas to a place where the culture is different, the language is different. I mean, you think about it, by the time you get there and deal with the jet lag, you deal with the different time zone, you deal with the lack of translation, by the time you get done, adjusted to all those things, the week's over and you're ready to come back home. And
We've done it. We've been there.
yeah, so my thing is, and this is how I'm not dogging overseas missions. That's good if you want to do that. That's fine. But I went to the Dominican Republic in college for a mission trip, and because we couldn't speak the language, we went to 2 orphanages. We couldn't speak the language, so all we did was passed out candy. Like, what did that do for anybody? Nothing. We went and did a basketball camp, and again, there was a language barrier, so we gave our testimony with a translator, and I promise you our testimonies were terrible. So then we came home, and I was like, well, what was the impact? Even when the tour guide said, these guys get a different group in here every week. Like, this is really more for you than it is for our kids. And that really was like a gut wrench. Because I'm like, I thought, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to save the world, I'm going to do something wonderful. And you're not. And so what I have come to know and realize is, in my class of 2007, we had a small class. I mean, it's a small class for Pilgrim County, but I know we have one girl that lives in Ecuador. We have one girl that lives in San Francisco. We have people all over Kentucky, all over Ohio. We have a lot of farmland here in Pilgrim County, ran by Mexicans who live in Mexico. And so they come here and they work and they'll send money home, or they'll go home eventually. And so my thing is, how much of an impact can I have worldwide by sending 10 people to a place for a week? Or can I sit there and have a bigger impact by pouring into the people here?
And I think that's the biggest. I think that's honestly like you said, nothing against overseas missions, because I feel like people are called to do overseas missions. If that's what you're called to do, then do it.
Yeah.
But like you said, I feel like our biggest battleground is right in front of us.
100%.
And often we jump over it because we're like, well, I can't do it here. That's where I live. I can't do it here.
Just think about it. If I pour into a kid that's going to be going into, that's going to be traveling the world one day, right? Who's going to invest his own time into learning a language and going there and pouring into those people there? Like, how much of an impact would I have if I taught that kid the gospel and he goes over there and speaks their language and is able to be there for a long period of time and teaching them the gospel? That's going to be a bigger impact than me going over there for a week thinking I'm making some difference. It's going to be a bigger impact if I can sit there and train these people here that are going to go to San Francisco, or they're going to go to Ohio, or they're going to go over to Florida. It's going to be more of an impact if I can sit there and pour into these people here. Or if I can start a ministry to reach out to these, people from Mexico, and they take the gospel back with them when they go home.
Yeah, back to their families.
Like, these are the things that we have to start getting, understanding that there's an impact that we can really have, a worldwide impact, by impacting our communities and the people in our communities.
Starts where you're at.
And a lot of communities, not just Pilgrim's not really that diverse, but a lot of communities are becoming more and more diverse with refugees and all the above. And so think about that impact that we can have if we start really focusing on being a Christian here at home. It would change the world. It really would.
Yeah. I think people undermine kind of what you can do. Like
yes.
How God can use you in your own community. I think people often just glance over it and they're like, I can't. Like, I'm in Pendleton. Like, what am I going to do here? I can't.
We think it's only politicians that can make a difference in Washington D.C. We think it's only people that are going to go over somewhere for a week. But I'm telling you, we hold in our hands one of the greatest impacts that we can do, and I just wish we could capitalize on it better. To be honest with you.
And I don't know, one of the coolest things, one of the most, I've been hearing it a lot throughout Serve Week is if you want to see change in your community, you got to be the change. Do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like a cliche thing to say, but it's true. Like, if you want to see change in your community, you want to see more people come to Christ in your community, you have to do it. Nobody's going to do it.
Or if you want to make a dent in racism,
do it.
Do it. I just saw a video about this guy who interviewed somebody from the KKK. He's black. He interviewed a guy from the KKK, became friends with him. He was invited to KKK meetings, and the guy, the head of the KKK, this Grand Dragon, looks to all these white people and points to the black guy and says, I trust him more than I trust you. I'm more friends with him than I am with you guys. And I just thought, man, what an impact. And I think, I don't remember how many people, 60, I think it was 60 people who literally, helped get out of the KKK. And then, who knows how big of an impact that was, even bigger. So, the change can happen with just one person. It really can. But we have to make sure that we put our faith in God. We have to let God lead us. And like you said, we got to be the change. Otherwise,
it's going to miss you. You're going to miss your chance.
Yeah. There's not going to be any change if you don't want to change. Because the politicians could care less about you. Yep. They're just trying to make money. They're trying to get a name for themselves and put their names in the history books. That's not how we're working. We want to work for Christ. When we put our faith in Christ and start doing the change here in our communities, we're going to change the world.
And when that's your mindset, when your mindset is when people work for Christ, when that's your mindset, it becomes it doesn't become a job or a chore. It becomes like something you're actively trying to keep doing.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, I want to talk about the state of today's worship. I'm going to talk about some churches that are getting canceled, some places that are getting canceled, some events that are getting canceled, and is this virus really as serious as they say? So hang in there. We'll be right back. Hello.
Part 2.
We're talking about churches and concerts and churches and.
If you're wondering where Brittany's at,
oh yeah,
she's gone.
She's gone. Finally kicked her off.
Not from the podcast.
Just kidding.
Just this episode.
She's doing some work behind the scenes.
To be fair, don't pick on us. Don't send any hate mail. This was her choice.
This was her choice. This was not our choice. We were going to wait for it, but she said,
She said go without us. So.
And she usually says that actually every episode.
Yes, she does. She usually does.
We actually took her up on it today.
Because
we're running out of time.
We cashed in on the opportunity. So.
Yeah. So anyway.
She's gonna kill us when she hears this. Anyway, go ahead. She's not here though. She can't hold it again.
No, she can't. And she won't listen to this podcast.
She won't listen to it.
Anyway, I'm excited. Next week we are bringing in Blake Whiteley, hip hop artist,
We were just talking about this before the break.
BR Management.
It is one of my. I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be very cool.
He has some cool songs, man, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to meet him. I'm excited to have him come here and perform for us. I'm excited for Falmouth to get a concert going, and it should look really nice.
He's bringing everything. He's bringing sound, lights, everything. Is he bringing lights? I don't know.
Yeah, he's bringing everything. And let me tell you something. It shocks people because we're moving forward and nobody else is, and almost like we're on a desert island where our church is doing stuff and everyone's kind of looking at us.
What I don't think people realize is
There's a virus.
it was very easy though, pre-pandemic, whatever it is. It is so simple to have a concert.
These guys do this
Simple.
for a living.
This is their jobs.
They have the sound.
You reach out to them.
They have the lights.
And guess what? What have we done? Now, pandemic has kind of messed it up a little bit because we had to reschedule.
The only thing we do, and we do this, they don't ask us to do this.
Yeah, they don't.
We just do this because we're awesome.
We're nice people.
But we literally will give them a green room. We'll fix up a room real nice so they have somewhere comfortable to sit. We'll
We usually I think we threw couches in there one time, but we usually just throw some,
old pew, little
comfy chairs in there.
or pews and some pillows.
We did some recon on when we had K-Drama come a while ago. We did some recon.
We'll do some recon, Blake.
He liked Dr. Pepper and Eminem. So
I gotta find out what Blake likes. I'll message Blake's wife. I have to.
get in some inside scoop on what his favorite things are.
Actually, I'll probably ask Brett, his manager.
But my point is about having a concert. It is simple. We scheduled a date. We found a date. We worked out the price with them, and we haven't dealt with it since. We scheduled the date.
I do need to check his rider to make sure I didn't forget anything.
Probably, but we've done promoting on our end.
Yeah.
And then they've done a little bit of promoting on their end, but. From the most part, it's a very low maintenance thing. And when he gets here, he does it all. He sets it up on his own. We'll help him if he needs it, but he's going to do everything. He'll perform the concert. Yep. It's a simple opportunity.
So simple. And I don't understand it. It should be done a lot more. It's one of the greatest outreach ministries as far as, now listen to me, I'm not saying it's outreach. I'm saying it's a great way to bring kids in.
Yep. It's
a great way to bring people in that would never walk into the church in the first place.
Yep.
And so.
Because we've had a couple concerts here, and we bring people in who probably never would have stepped foot in church before. And the best part of it is,
then they go, oh my gosh, and you're the youth leader, and oh my gosh, there's a 31-year-old that's preaching.
Yeah, they have all these questions, but even just getting them through the doors is worth it.
Yes.
Because that gives them they become comfortable in here. They know what it looks like. They know what to expect, and then hopefully they come back.
Yeah. They'll be like, that's the cool pastor's church. Yeah, the hip hop pastor. You know.
You don't wear skinny jeans though.
Not yet. I'd be willing. At some point. They say skinny jeans is more comfortable. Now, I can't confirm or deny that.
You know what's really comfy? I will never wear normal jeans again in my life.
But the reason I say it is because it's girls' jeans. Go ahead.
You gonna pick on my jeans I wear? I don't wear skinny jeans, but there's these jeans that I wear. They're called
girl jeans.
Stretch. I think they're called stretch fit or something like that.
Girls.
They're not like stretching the waist like elastic.
I
They're
know.
like a normal belt loop.
Everything about them is stretches.
But it's got like 5% spandex.
Girls.
They're the nicest jeans in the world.
Those are girl jeans.
No, they're men's.
I
I promise you, they're men's. Look at the tag.
Every girl jean. That's why girls like those jeans. They can fit in them.
Why? You know, if you don't want to live a different life with comfortable jeans, then don't do it. I'll do it. They're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn in my life.
Listen, when fall comes around, what's your favorite drink?
Coffee.
What kind?
The pumpkin spice kind. I don't like the
girl jeans and pumpkin spice latte.
I don't like pumpkin spice. I like the idea of pumpkin spice.
Explain that.
It just sounds cool.
Oh my.
Like I'm drinking a pumpkin spice coffee. Just sounds cool, huh?
Wow.
I actually prefer white chocolate mochas. Those are actually flavor-wise, those are pretty good.
That's sad, man.
You drink hot chocolate.
Yes.
What's any better?
But black.
You don't put anything in hot chocolate
exactly.
anyway.
Exactly.
Well, I drink my white macchiato black. So.
Actually, I like my hot chocolate with marshmallows, with whipped cream, and then sprinkle a little cinnamon on it.
And sprinkles. You like sprinkles?
Sprinkles too, yes. If I have
and I'm the kid.
But I can do without sprinkles if I have to. Listen, I got a wedding I'm doing tomorrow. And so today I had a rehearsal. We had a rehearsal breakfast, not a rehearsal dinner. It was a rehearsal breakfast.
Genius idea.
And it was I wasn't complaining. It was wonderful. It's an outside wedding too, so rehearsal. We were able to do it before it got really hot. But I was sitting at the table. I was sitting at the table and we had donuts and I'm eating donuts and I'm having a good old time eating donuts and having a good time. And I look up and I'm like surrounded by kids and then one of the kids was like, "I bet you feel weird." I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "You're eating donuts, So you're eating sprinkled donuts with a bunch of kids. I'm like,
I bet you got the ones with the little fruity pebbles on top.
but I'm like, this is like my normal life.
It's
I
like
don't
heaven
care.
for you.
Yeah. I'm like, this is what I normally eat. Donuts for breakfast. I eat Hot Pockets for lunch, and then
Pizza for dinner.
frozen pizza for dinner and Doritos. Like that's my diet. So
How are you healthy?
I'm not. I'm not.
That's good stuff.
I'm not. So
Wedding
anyway,
tomorrow is actually gonna be pretty hot, so hopefully you're ready for that.
should be a lot. I think it'll be fun. I think it's. I think
it'll be a cool wedding. Yeah. I plan to watch it on Facebook.
Are you? I gotta figure out how to do that. I think I'm.
They're banking on that. They're banking on that to get done.
Did she
be on
say? Did
Facebook.
she announce that?
Oh, it's in a group and everything.
Are you kidding?
I'm on the group on
Did
Facebook.
she say Abram?
No, she didn't say Abram, but she said there's a group on Facebook. I've invited to it. There's like 50 people in it. She said tune in on this date at this time, Facebook Live. You can watch our ceremony. So, no pressure, but
Okay, that's interesting.
pretty good group.
50 people.
53.
Oh,
To be exact.
well, anyway, that's awesome.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
I almost made her invite you guys just so you could run it.
I would just distance myself. I'd sit back in the corner if I had to.
Think you would?
I would if she wanted me to. Not really, probably.
Could you do it to that group? We'll talk about it after the podcast.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. Well, anyway.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah, it is tomorrow. I should have thought that through a little bit more. All right. Well, anyway.
What were we talking about? What do you have coming up this
Well-
half? The first half went by so quick.
There's things that are being canceled that are really breaking my heart. Let's go back all the way to there's this big concert called Elevation Nights or something like that. They're doing a big worship thing. I was going to go to that. I was going to go to NASCAR this year. I got my wife tickets to Michael Bublé. Canceled. You know what I'm
I've never seen
saying?
Michael Bublé.
Jordan Family Band was going to be coming here. It's going to be one of our biggest concerts to date.
A
Canceled.
month ago, actually, we were going to.
Yep, canceled. And that one was a pain in the butt because we had to move venues 3 times, but canceled.
The good thing is that one's going to be rescheduled, so at least we can.
Church camp, canceled.
I know, that's a bummer. Winter Jam, at the very beginning of
Winter
this.
Jam, that was the first one that got canceled. That was the first one that
Started
was
it all.
Yes. I blame Winter Jam because we actually thought this Winter Jam too because last year we sat in the cold and we're like, no, we're not sitting in the cold anymore. We're going to get tickets, early access tickets.
So
we
we
can go
paid
in.
for 'em.
We paid extra money. We got T-shirts and
Which t-shirts are cool. Did you see
VIP
this week on
passes.
Facebook? What Winter Jam did? Everything on their website was like $10, I think. Everything.
Thanks for telling me. Why did you not tell me that?
No, I didn't. It was all 2020 stuff, so
I
I'm
don't
trying to get
care.
rid of it.
I
But it was
would've
still cool
bought it.
stuff.
I would've
I think it
taken
still
it.
is. It probably still is.
All right.
$10. Website wide, $10.
Winter Jam, you owe us free publicity.
I expect, yes, an ad for
Yes.
Christian Young on your next
Winter Jam 2021. So anyway, but here's the thing that they just announced this week, and it's really been a dagger to our hearts, which is, I don't know if you've heard this yet, drum roll, Woolfest. Canceled.
Why'd you have to say it like
Woolfest is one of the largest festivals dedicated to wool or sheep in the United States.
If you've never heard of Woolfest, chances are you probably have. You just didn't know
I
it.
guarantee you have.
But it brings in so many people. People
We run
travel in.
about, so our population in the Pendleton County is 15,000 people. Now, all of Pendleton County, that's Butler, Falmouth, there's one more place in here somewhere. I don't know what all the cities are. So,
Whatever it is.
Morgan, Barry,
All
all these cities, 15,000 people. But on the day of weekend of Woolfest, we run 30,000 just for Woolfest. Our population doubles every year.
If you don't know what Woolfest is, like I said, you probably do.
Google it,
You
Woolfest,
probably do know
Kentucky.
what Woolfest is. You just didn't know it was
Woolfest
called
KY,
Woolfest.
I believe it is.
It is.
.org.
It is a very cool thing. They have a Facebook page. It's actually probably like what, 5 minutes from the church?
Yeah.
The property.
Yeah. It's on the fair. It's
It's right next to the state park over here.
yes.
It is a very cool thing. If you've never been to Woolfest, I encourage you to attend Woolfest.
Long line to get in. Okay,
But
they
it is
never
worth
figured
it.
that out.
No,
They
they
never figured that out
still
in
haven't
30,
figured that
40
out.
years.
We figured it out this year. We came in a different direction. Oh, no, we didn't.
That's a state secret.
No, we didn't.
It's a local secret.
Didn't see that. Didn't.
Anyway, so we get in there, and then there's all these cars, and you walk in, and the smell, and the sights, and the sounds, and the food.
It's like when you walk into your favorite spot, as a kid, you always went to the same thing every year.
It's home.
It's just home. It's a very home feeling.
We feel it. I've never had a year without a Wolf Fest.
This year you will.
We've always had Wolf Fest
This year you will.
every year.
It's the same thing every year though. Too.
My entire life, yeah. I know every booth. I know
Every booth,
I
every
know
person.
music. They get the same music. They get the same booth. They get everything is pretty much identical, and that's what I love about it.
Yep.
I know it. Like you don't know what to expect in life. Life's always changing, but the Wolf Fest never does.
Yep.
And well, it's gone, man. So I'm really bummed about that.
I love Wolf Fest. It's so cool. I'm really bummed out that it's gone. Actually, why'd you have to bring it back up?
But we've been getting. So why is it canceled? Virus. A stupid virus. If anything should get canceled, it should be the virus.
I'm into that one. Put that on a shirt.
That would be kind of cool.
Cancel the virus.
Cancel the virus. Cancel culture. Cancel the virus. This cancel culture stuff's getting ridiculous.
It's kind of cool what you just said because when I looked up the Cooper podcast, his last
That's what he
episode
talked
was
about.
called "Cancel."
Culture. Cancel
Cancel
culture. Cancel.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Everybody's canceling each other. J.K. Rowling, she wrote the Harry Potter books. J.K. Rowling. You know what I'm talking about? J.K. Rowling? She wrote the Harry Potter books.
I'm not a fan of Harry Potter, but
I'm not either, but listen, she wrote these books, and she's far left, but then she hates the cancel culture because she runs female. She actually has a nonprofit organization that actually helps females who are, you know, in abusive relationships with their husbands and stuff, and so they have homes and things for women. The issue is she's against transgenderism because, you know, she doesn't want guys who think they're girls in these homes with these women and some other reasons. So she's very vocal about it, and boy, they want her destroyed.
it's crazy.
They want to burn her books. But we're seeing this all the time. If you say the wrong thing, boycott them, destroy them.
But it's more destroy. It's more like a
Yeah,
if you
we
do
want
something
your
wrong,
job.
we want your career destroyed,
Destroyed.
everything you've ever done destroyed. We want to erase what you did.
We're pulling like 20 years ago. You dressed up as a black man, destroy him. You know, 30 years ago, you said this remark, destroy him.
But it's crazy. It's
insane.
Some people, all they have to do is one apology, though, sometimes for some of these people, like cures them, I guess.
But here's the thing. The problem is with the cancel culture is eventually it's going to come for you.
Yep.
Nick Cannon,
Just a matter of time.
right? Nick Cannon, who is very vocal, I think he's a vocal cancel person.
Yeah, he's vocal about it.
Guess what? He made.
You don't know Nick Cannon. He was on Nickelodeon for a while. He was.
He was on Drumline. He was a
Drumline,
Drumline.
Main guy.
He did Wild and Out. He does Wild and Out
MTV,
on MTV. But no, I don't endorse anything. But that's who he is. But Nick Cannon, he made some anti-Semitic remarks about the Jews and some other stuff. Some really hateful remarks. So
Really?
I
didn't actually hear
CBS, Viacom, CBS, I think it is. They dropped them. Said, look, you can't make those comments. They're correct on this. You can't make those comments. And so they dropped him, and now he is demanding an apology from CBS. So it's very confusing. But I'm telling you, cancel culture comes for everybody.
It's only a matter of time.
Unless you're Jimmy Kimmel, he seems to be okay with it, or Howard Stern. Howard Stern has done some very inappropriate things, but he seems to be okay. Like, it's weird how they pick and choose. The cancel culture picks and chooses, but boy, it's going to come for you one day.
It'll hit everybody eventually.
And one day it's going to be your statue that they're going to be tearing down because you're whatever offensive in some way, shape, or form in 100 years.
Yeah.
Of course, you know.
Right now we're seeing
Society's
it. We're
changed.
seeing it in the sports world right now too.
I love sports.
I do too. I want to enjoy sports. I
didn't want to go here, but I'm going to.
We should. We should.
Sports are created. This is why they exist. They exist. They're created. They're so big and such a big money machine because hard-working men and women who go to work all day long have to listen about politics and listen to their boss yelling at them and they're just scraping to get by in life. They can sit there and go home and turn on the TV and watch a game of basketball or watch. I stress out all week. I like to sit there on Sunday afternoon after a long day of preaching and just sit there and watch NASCAR.
Even though you sleep through it, probably.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's relaxing.
It's the most relaxing thing. It's well up. I want to sleep through NASCAR
And like
race.
I said, I want to enjoy sports.
But we can't.
We can't enjoy sports right now.
Why?
Because
Politics.
They're part of this politics.
So I gotta work all day, listen to politics, and a boss yelling at me, and people telling me what I should do. Then I got to turn on the TV to watch my favorite sports team, and then listen to them tell me what to do, and them talk about politics, and them tell me how racist I am for being white, or how, how whatever. Insert problem that the social justice warriors have.
I wish we would go back to,
Toronto Raptors rolled into, they were at a practice facility in Florida, they rolled into...
But what's this bubble? You explain this bubble to me?
Yeah, the NBA bubble. So the NBA bubble they have created a space where they can't leave.
Okay, that's what I figured it was.
Because they want to keep everybody quarantined so that nobody can get the virus.
That's what I thought it was.
So they quarantine you for X amount of time, they test you, they quarantine you, then you go into the bubble, and nobody's allowed to talk to you or touch you or whatever. So you're in this little bubble. The thing about it is, the Toronto Raptors come from a practice facility in Florida. They drive 2 hours to get to there in a bus that they paid who knows how much money on,
A lot.
wrapped with Black Lives Matter on it. And I'm like, every shirt that they have is a Black Lives Matter shirt.
Warm-up shirt.
The NBA says now that you can put social justice saying on the back of your shirt instead of your last name. Now it's interesting because LeBron James goes, I ain't going to do that. Now why? Because I thought, man, maybe LeBron James finally woke up. But you know why he won't do it? Because there was a list of approved social justice names you can use. And there was one that he didn't. The one he wanted isn't on that list. So he's going to keep James on the back of his thing.
Good. Keep your name on it.
So stupid.
Our
We're living in
point
the
is,
craziest world.
it's hard for me to try to enjoy sports.
This is the reason it's called entertainment.
It is called entertainment for that reason, that it's an escape from politics. It's an
And the
escape
world.
from the real world.
So don't bring the world into there, bro.
No.
I just want to see you play basketball.
And the worst part about it for me is I enjoy athletes, certain athletes I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed certain athletes in their when they're playing games. I enjoy the athlete, right? Maybe not as a person because I don't really know him as a person, but I enjoy an athlete. But then when politics get involved, it's just so hard for me to enjoy watching or, it's so weird. It's a weird world.
I've never liked LeBron James because Kobe Bryant's better.
I would say MJ is better than all of them, but Kobe is definitely before LeBron. I'll back
You
you
can
up.
call him LBJ. I don't care what you call him. He's not very good.
He's
I also
not.
don't like the fact that he calls himself the greatest, and he calls himself the king, and he calls himself all these stupid dumb names. It's just, ugh.
King James.
Drives me nuts.
But he is not better than Kobe. I'll back you up there.
He is. So anyway, I got off that high horse. But things are getting canceled left and right. It's breaking my heart. But then I hear Andy Stanley.
Who's that?
Oh, Pastor Andy Stanley. Andy Stanley, I think he's in Georgia or somewhere. Atlanta.
Megachurch.
Big old mega church in Atlanta. You probably know his dad, Charles Stanley. He's a famous pastor. But old Andy said, we're canceling church the rest of the year. We're going to cancel it the rest of the year. Now, at first I was upset because I said, why? We got to start sticking to our guns. We need to have church. If anybody could have church, mega church could have church, right? They got plenty of seats.
Well, they already do 6 or 7 services,
Yeah,
so just do
plenty of
12
overflow.
to 14 services.
Yeah.
Just double your services, or
Just hire some more pastors.
yeah,
And y'all can preach every other service.
yeah, you already have 4.
Yeah, but here's the reality. I started thinking about this week, and I thought, you know what? This might be the greatest thing to hit Andy Stanley in his church. Because I heard, this may not be true, and I hope it is, Andy, but I heard they're going to start doing smaller groups, smaller gatherings, and maybe if they're doing that, that's wonderful. Because then I thought to myself, is this virus going to end the megachurch? Will this virus be the thing that stops these megachurches and gets these small churches back into like a position?
Well,
to
we were
grow?
talking about it before this episode, but you said you hope all those people who were going to that megachurch
Yes.
attend local small churches,
Yeah.
which is kind of, I guess, what you're talking about.
Expand your horizon. But I saw this week, I saw a comment that said, I cringe. This is what they said. I cringe when I hear a piano and a slow hymn, and I can never listen. I can never worship with a hymn because I just cringe with the slowness and the boringness. And I thought,
What hymns you listen
what
to?
hymns you listen to? What church are you attending where that's the case? Because they were like, well, so he was essentially saying, I like praise and worship music. But I'm like, I cringe when I go into a church and I hear slow praise and worship music that's playing by bad musicians who can't sing or play music. So what's the difference,
Yep, there isn't.
right?
Nothing against praise and worship. There's nothing against hymns.
And the thing is, our definition of worship in today's Christianity in America is not what worship is the way that the Bible describes it. Right? Worship is so much more, and there's got to be more to it. And for some reason, we've lost worship in general. But I can tell you this, when you get a good hymn and a good piano player and a good organ player and they're, playing it and you're singing a good upbeat hymn,
I was gonna say they haven't been to Trinity yet.
it doesn't even have to be upbeat as long as it's a good song and you got the whole church singing. There is no greater feeling than that, man. That's a cool feeling.
I think a couple weeks ago here at Trinity we sang Amazing Grace.
Mm.
And for some reason, I've noticed it before, but for some reason, this time when we sang Amazing Grace was the loudest I had ever heard people in the congregation singing. I could hear them over the piano, they were singing so loud.
Yep.
I'm not kidding you. It was loud.
Yep.
But it's so encouraging because that many people, to me, that was a very awesome worship experience because it's like, wow, it's a humbling thing.
Very humbling.
People are putting themselves,
So I'm hoping this is a bonus. I'm hoping that this cancellation thing is a bonus. It might be great. Might be terrible. But the Barna, Barna Research Group, they said that only 1 out of 3 people are coming back to the church in general, out of church members. So we really are struggling. Not as our church. Our church, we're almost getting up there to our normal numbers. So we're actually doing really well. But some of these churches are really struggling. And maybe this is God, cleansing the churches. I don't know, man. I always hate that because I feel like everybody's like, well, this is God doing this and this is God doing that. But
nobody knows.
we don't know. We're going to keep playing. But then
I've heard a lot of, wait, you have something to say?
well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I heard a lot of people say that they think we're living in the end times too, which is it's a scary thought because people don't act like that. They don't act like we're living in the end times. They say that we're living in the end times, but they don't act like it because if they were acting like this was the end times, then they would be doing everything that they possibly could to try to save as many people as they could. Don't you think?
I would hope so. But
They don't do that.
No, they don't. That's the thing. And every time somebody says that, I need to do that. I need to respond with,
You should.
are you living like it?
Are you living like it? I've heard that over the past, I won't even say over the past month, since the pandemic started, people have instantly went straight to that, and it's kind of like
That's good. I'm going to add it in my sermon.
You should. It's good.
Well done.
I approve. Use it.
But have you seen the stuff that's been happening over in California?
I've not.
With churches being
They
canceled?
They canceled, I think they said,
They canceled more.
California, the one thing I heard about California this week was that they canceled school for the rest of the year. They're not doing
Oh, is that
school.
official?
I think they said that. And don't back me up on that. You try to do your own research. But I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. That they canceled school. Maybe it was for at least the fall. Might not be spring.
Might
But
be
they've
right.
at least canceled, which, from what I've heard going through the entire thing, is that California was pretty much the leader in like making the decisions. Everybody else kind of followed suit.
Well, the second wave, they say
What do they do with churches?
the second wave hits, right? And the second wave wasn't supposed to hit till fall. It hit a month later. They said that the sun, with the heat and the stuff in the summer, it would probably go down a little bit, but it hasn't. But our testing has gone up. Our cases are going up. I still believe our deaths is going down. MSNBC or MSN, somebody said that really, I guess it was the CDC. They said that the CDC said that we're almost out of this pandemic.
I heard that
section of it. Really.
the CDC director apparently has been coming out. I've seen articles all over the place saying if everyone just put their mask on, we could have this thing controlled in 4 to 8 weeks.
But that bothers me more than anything because that's the same thing they were saying
In March,
in March when they were going.
Stay home for 2
We could
weeks.
just lock down for 2 weeks, right? We'll flatten the curve and we'll all be okay. Then we got out of the curve and they're like,
gotta have a mask for
now
4
you
to
got to
8
wear a
weeks.
mask, and that's going to happen over and over again. Now, the vaccine. Because here's the thing: the vaccines are the only thing that's going to get people back out.
Yep.
And guess what? Nobody's going to take the vaccine.
Nope.
I ain't getting no vaccine.
Nobody wants to be the guinea pig.
You can't prick me with that needle to save my life. I would not get that vaccine.
Won't do it.
Now I say this, but I actually was against the masks until our governor mandated it.
Which that's getting some
The health
issues
department was
right
all
in
over
with
us.
that one.
So,
Listen, I'll play.
I'm trying to wear
We'll
it.
play nice,
but I'm telling you, I'm getting to the wits' ends. And here's the thing. Here's what I was talking about. California, they've canceled their churches. Most of them.
Yeah.
And most of them are like, nah,
Not doing it.
we're going to defy it. So that's the kind of
Well, you
stuff
have
we
a
got to
right.
start doing.
You have a right.
We got to start standing up a little bit.
And I'm glad. It's actually a good thing you said that because I've been saying it for a while. I think if churches aren't spiritually ready
Yes.
for the
Yes.
world to come attack us,
Yes.
because literally, I mean, that's like you said, we're one step away from
One generation.
I would even say even sooner, but we're super close to the people coming and be offended by the Bible and coming
Yes.
at the Bible and coming at church. So if Christians as a whole are not ready for what's coming, the war that's getting ready to come, attack our churches, it'll be over.
Yeah, this is like a warning sign. Like,
It's a warning. Get ready.
Get your stuff ready because they're coming for you, and they're coming hard. And at some point, I think as churches, we have to show how big of an influence we are.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, I think we need to sit there and go, all right, we really are a lot. We are big in numbers, and we can throw our weight around if we have to. That's what they used to do back in the day, man. They say, all right, we're the church. We're going to throw our weight around.
Well,
nowadays, it ain't happening.
You said, didn't you say growing up, or there was you said you did a sermon illustration once. You might have said when you were younger or something, but you said the city came, or the school came to the church to see what.
No, that's I can't remember what place that is. It's
You
in
used it
Dakota.
recently.
It's
Yeah,
like
there's a small town.
There's a small town
Yeah.
in Dakota North Dakota, where they literally they go to the church before they do their school calendar because they know that they can't work. They have to work around the church because everyone goes to that church. Like it's a big church, everyone goes to it, and when they schedule something, nobody's at their school event.
But it's.
Could you imagine?
We should have that. That mindset should be our
Yes.
thing. We should
Instead
not to
of-
put an emphasis on
Instead of the
worshiping
church becoming empty on Sunday night
Oh, yeah.
because there's a basketball game, like a local basketball game, or Friday night, like imagine if it was the reverse. Imagine if the school is sitting there going, we got to find out when you guys are doing this because we know that nobody will come. Like, I couldn't imagine that, to be honest with you.
Be cool, honestly.
Would be honest.
But especially for youth purposes.
So here's the question that I have. Is this virus a real thing? Is this a serious, I know it's real. I know it's real. I know it's real. I know people are getting it. I understand this. Is it as serious as they say?
You want to be honest answer?
Yeah.
My honest answer is no.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I'll say this: for a deadly virus, right? For
I
a
don't see
deadly
people dropping like flies around me.
it's amazing that in order to survive it, you just gotta go into your home for 14 days, and you're good. Like that blows my mind. For a deadly virus as such,
Well,
it's
I've
amazing
heard-
that a mask
Yeah.
will keep you from. I'm sorry, it doesn't keep you. It protects you from. It protects the other person from you. Like for a deadly virus, it's amazing that you can have zero symptoms, but have this. Like name a other deadly virus, but these are all the cases.
None of them.
Blows my mind.
The Unashamed podcast. I don't remember. I think it was one of their grandmas or one of their wife's grandmas or something like that. She was quarantined. She was one of the people who quarantined from the very beginning. She's like 98 or something like that. So she's maybe not that old, but she's an old lady. They're saying she's high susceptible to all this stuff. Well, long story short, she gets the virus. They didn't know how she got it. She was at her home. She never saw anybody. She quarantined from everybody. She goes to the doctor. She's in there for a couple of days. She gets out of it sick or fully recovered, fully healthy, recovered. So where am I going with this? Listen, if you're going to get this virus, you're going to get this virus. If you're going to die in a car wreck, you're going to die in a car wreck. Sorry to say.
Here's the thing.
But God, what my point is, you can't fight with God
No.
with what His plan is for your life. You can't do it.
And people are upset because they're like, you got to wear a mask to protect me and my health. But I saw a post that said, you smoke, you have diabetes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you eat really bad food.
McDonald's have receptor
Yeah,
tonight
like,
today.
and you're worried about, like,
A virus?
now you're worried about your health. Like, you know, I don't understand it, man. We're living in weird times, and for us, we're moving forward as a church and praying for God to keep a hedge of protection around us. And man,
This nation needs it. Needs prayer.
you better believe it. And I can tell you this, I've said this from the beginning of the pandemic, the churches that survive are going to be the ones that thrive. So,
A lot of rhymes do.
yeah.
Churches survive. They're going to thrive.
Listen, we just got a beep, meaning we got 1 minute left. So we're going to wrap this up and man, tune in next week for our,
Episode
it'll
19.
probably be a late, it'll probably come on later. Right.
It definitely won't be there on
Because
Friday.
y'all are on vacation.
We're on vacation this week, but you'll get it. You'll get it.
We'll
Just
do
be
it
on the lookout.
Saturday probably. But, man, I'm excited. Thank y'all for tuning in, listening to us. Like it, share it, post it,
You can subscribe on your Facebook.
subscribe it. Yep, subscribe at Crozier Ministries. And we'll check you
See you next week.
next week. Preaching! Young.
Hey guys, what's up? We thank you for listening to our podcast today. If you have any questions, you can email us at preachingyoung, no caps, no spaces, @gmail.com. Hope to see you next time.